Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing great. Hope you all are. I am here with my scrappy scrap with me video of the weekend or of the week. And what I'm making or trying to make this week is yo-yos. So I mentioned last week that I was going to try it. You know, we made those round flowers last week out of, scraps. And those were fun, but I said I wanted to try yo-yo, so I did. I did try it this week. This was my first one, and this was my second one. So I was going to show you, I didn't buy any special tools, a yo-yo maker or anything. I just wanted to try it with the things that I have on hand. So you don't have to have any special tools, really. So what I did was I took a piece of fabric and I knew I wanted them small like this. I don't know, you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller than this, but this is a good size, I think. And so I grabbed this lid, it's a lid to a pickle, a jar, and I just put it down on my fabric. You can put it either way, this way or this way, whatever's easier for you. Okay, so say I put it down on my fabric, because I've already done it to save time on the video, but I put it down, I held it down, and I drew around it with, this is a black pen, black ink pen, just a regular black pen. I drew around it all these circles on the back of the fabric. The back of this fabric, you can see, is kind of light, and here's the front and here's the back. So I could see my line, good on the back here. So this fabric worked good for me. And you might have to adjust for different fabrics, but then I just took my regular, these are scissors that I use for cutting paper. These are just from the Dollar Tree, and they actually cut, these are the little Westcott scissors, and they actually cut fabric really well. So I just use them for both. Since they're only $1, I don't have to save them for, fabric or paper. So I just cut them out, all these little circles with those scissors. And so I made those two, was my practice, and I watched some videos again. I watched them a while ago, and I hadn't really tried it because it looked kind of tedious, to tell you the truth. But I'm glad I tried it, because at least I know how to do it now if I do want to make some. So then after you get your circles, there's two or three ways to do it. There's two ways to do it with just this, and then there's the other ways to use a little, yo-yo maker tool kit that they sell. But I just wanted to, since I'm just trying, I didn't even know if I would, like it. I did it this way. And there is a way you can make it with where you make a hem and then stitch around. I tried that, and I tell you, I'm being honest here, I didn't like that. I don't want to mess with all that. I don't want to try to, iron down a hem or have to hold down a hem and stitch through. That was just too tedious for me. I just don't want to deal with that. So, let's see. And when I was watching the person that did the hem, their middle part here actually came out a little bulkier, and I didn't like that either. I want this to be flat, because if I want to use these, I'm going to use them in a journal, on a page or something. So I want these as least, with the least amount of bulk as possible, right? So I don't want them to be bulky. I want them to be flat. And then you can leave it like this, or you can put a little button or another little a little silk flower there, or anything you want, charm, whatever you want to do to decorate the middle of your yo-yo. I think they're cute just like this. So, your imagination is your limit on that. But I was just going to show you, this is just using up some scraps. And this was a big piece, as you could see, because I got, not giant. It was right from my scrap bag that I showed you that I have, where I'm trying to use up my fabric scraps now. So, I got all of these out of one piece of fabric that was in my fabric scrap bag. I'm using regular thread, and I'm using this needle because this is the needle, again, that I used last week making the flowers. It's a doll needle, and it has a big eye, so it's easy to get like any size thread through here. I was going to use embroidery floss, but then I thought, well, let me try regular thread and see how that works. And it worked good. And I will tell you, give you some tips that I found out along the way. But I tied a double knot here at the end. It's important to have a good knot at the end, because you don't want your thread to come out. So doubled my thread, knot at the end, and then we get started. So I want my knot to be on the inside. So I start with my needle here. And you can see like I'm coming in just a little, not even a quarter of an inch. So the first time I did it, I made bigger stitches because I was like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to try this and see how it comes out. And I think it came out better when I made smaller stitches like this, like a running stitch. So I'm just, and this might take a minute, so you have to be patient with me. This is my third one. So but just little stitches like this around the side. And so I'll show you what I did, because you're sewing in a curve, right? You're not sewing in a straight line, so you can get a little kind of like going, you know, wonky or something if you're not careful. So this is what I did. I just went like that. I got a few stitches and I feel like I'm curving, you know, I'm trying to curve, but I can't curve. So I went ahead and pulled my thread through. Okay, so there's my knot. I got it down. You see it's on the inside. That's what I want. And then, so I pulled it through, and then I started again, because, you know, then you're kind of like almost like starting from the beginning with your thread here, where you're kind of gathering it up. You don't have all that bulk behind you trying to mess up your curve here. So yeah, nobody told me this in the video. I just said from, you know, like I say sometimes you just got to use your common sense and kind of figure out what works for you. You know, maybe it'll work for you gathering up the whole thing on your needle, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that feeling, so I'm doing it like this. Again, I'm pulling it through. It's probably about 5 or 6. I'll count my stitches this time. Actually, it's probably about 5 or 6 stitches, and then I want to pull it through. Okay, again, I'm trying to stay close to the side when I start again. So just, and like this is my third one, and if you wanted to do a bunch of these, same with the flowers last week, you're going to get faster and faster as you kind of get experience doing this. You kind of get a rhythm going, and this would be a good TV craft, or you probably could, if you have a nice smooth, if you're riding in a car, you're the passenger, and you are riding in a car, you could probably do this in a car, as long as you're not on a bumpy road where you're going to like poke yourself with your needle here. So, okay, that was probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 stitches there. So I'm pulling it through again, and we're almost back to the beginning. Okay, you don't want to pull it tight yet. Oh, I ended on the outside, so let's go back underneath. Just be careful. Yeah, when you're doing, if you stop and start, make sure you don't, like, say I came out on the bottom here, make sure you don't like come back around. You got to start, or you're not going to be able to pull it when you're done. You're going to have to start over. I kind of did something like that already on one of the ones I did here. One of the 2 I did. And I had to end up cutting my string out and starting over my thread. I had to cut it off and start over. So I did quite a bit of practicing. Even though I only did 2, I probably more like did 4 in those 2. Because one I did over like 3 times, because I wanted to, first of all, I did something like that where I got the stitches going the wrong way, and then I started over a couple times because I just didn't like the way it was turning out. Okay, so I'm back at the beginning, and now I'm going to pull the thread through again. Okay, so it's all the way through. So like on the second one, oh, that's what I did once. I pulled my thread through, like I had my knot, but you pull kind of tight when you're pulling this together, and my thread pulled through where my knot was. So to take care of that, the next time I held on to my little tail from where my knot is. I held on to that, and then I pulled. I kind of grab it under my thumb, hold it tight, hold it tight because you don't want that thread to come out. Hold it tight, and then you're going to pull, and you want it to fold in like this. So you're going to pull it tight, and don't worry if it's not looking right. You kind of like, you can fix it when you're done pulling it, but you want to pull in all your sides. Okay, now at the end it's pretty much pulled in, but you don't want to pull that knot through. Okay, so see, I've got it all pulled together there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of see, it's got the little ruffles and everything, and I'm just going to make sure this, I had to do this with the second one, get my little center in the center. So you kind of have to like work with your little circle and push everything to the center, so you've got even sides, if that makes sense. See how it's kind of like over? So I just want to pull it. I want to pull my string tight, but I also want to pull my fabric around so that the gather, the middle is in the middle. Okay, see, it's a little fiddly, isn't it? I would dare to say this is not going to be my favorite little fabric scrap project, but they are cute. See, it's coming out now. I'm just working with it. Okay, see how it looks now? I got it all in the center. Just working with it a little bit, pulling the fabric around. And now I also kind of discovered that like on the first one, you see how it's kind of, I don't know, it's in the center, but it seemed a little puffy. So on this second one, what I did was, when I was done, you know, you have it there, but I tied it off. So I took my thread, it's coming out right here on this side. So I went over to the other side and put my needle through the fabric, kind of like I'm securing it down. Okay, I'm securing the whole centerpiece here, and then I'm going to go through and maybe go back through, let's see, I'm going to go back through on another spot, like on the other side, so I get all four sides. So I'm going to pull that through and then go through to the other side too. So I'm getting all four sides. So I went from here to here to here to here. Okay, so I'm kind of securing all four sides down to the center. Okay, this is kind of they didn't really say, they said how to stitch it down, but I was like, I don't know, I just wanted to do it this way. So that's what I did. I kind of like just did it my way. So I'm securing all four sides, and now I need a knot to just end it, right? So I'm going to take this and just make a little knot. I think I'm going to go to the other side again and go through, and then go through like I'm making a knot. Let me get my threads together here. I'm trying to separate on me. Okay, got my threads together. I'm going to go through that loop, and this is going to make me a knot right here, and then I'm going to do that again. I want a double knot. Keep it nice and secure. Try to make sure everything's pulled down there. I got a little loop there somehow, but yeah, we can just sew that down. I'm going to sew over it, I think. Make another knot over that. Okay, so just another knot there. Don't have to go through any kind of other sides or anything now. I'm just trying to make a knot. So this is my second knot. There we go. We've got a double knot. Pull it, make sure it's all together. And let me see if I like it. I think it feels secure and it's good. I think it's good to go. So I'm going to cut it off just right there, right at the center. And there you go. We have another little yo-yo, and that one came out. Here they are. You can see that as you go, as you practice, you'll get better. Each one will get better, right? So this was my first one here. I'm just holding them up a little close so you can see really good. This is my first one. This one is a little better. This is my second one, and I think this one came out better too. And see, this one is where I made the 1/4 inch stitch around in the beginning, where you're stitching around your circle. And see how my little kind of like pleats or ruffle is kind of like a bigger kind of ruffle. See, that's why I did this one, this stitch is closer so that it would be more ruffles around, and not like this one seems like it has bigger ruffles. This one has smaller ruffles. And this one I really paid attention that we did on the video and made even smaller little ruffles. And see, I think I have even more ruffles on this one from making more closer stitches. So that's why you want to make closer stitches, because you want your tiny little ruffles all around, evenly all around. And it doesn't have to be perfectly even. I'm just saying, instead of bigger stitches, make smaller stitches and you'll have more ruffles. Okay. So cute little thing, right? And I mean, I'm not going to make a yo-yo quilt or anything ever, but I think these would be fun to use and have some on hand and use up some of your scraps. I mean, you can make all of these with a little piece of fabric, and then you can have, you know, some of these for your, you can use them on your ephemera, you can use them on cards, you can use them on your journal, on pockets, you know, tuck spots and things, and you can make them any size you want. You can pretty much figure they're going to be about half the size of your circle to determine what size circle you need. See, this was my original circle, say, and then this is about half of that. So if you want a smaller one, just make a smaller circle and just have fun with it. So thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed that little scrappy idea, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Happy crafting.